races canceled.
All right, hello and welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News with the legend Scott Allen and Cody Carlton over there, the 15-time winner at the arena races, and Joe Staples. Glad to have Joe. We had Joe here last week, but we kind of kicked him to the curb a little bit last week. Didn't mean to, but we got him here, and we're going to find out all kinds of good stories. Got any good
You can
stories?
tell us what we can cheat on. What's on tech next week?
Remember, we're friends off the track.
That's right, yeah. That's what Testerman said. He said, I like the officials away from the racetrack, not at the racetrack.
All right, so what we had, let's just start out with the arena races. We know who won. We don't even have to go through that.
Yeah, right. The same guy won most of it again.
Getting kind of old, but let's talk about, there was a car out there on that racetrack this week that had the whole front end tore off of it. And the guy that was driving it got mad and kicked another car. And then he walks around hurt with a hurt foot. Now, there's a problem with this.
I don't think I'll do that again.
I just want to get
sure
him.
did. My foot hurt for a day or two. Still a little sore, but ain't too bad today.
Now, Cody, we ain't got but 2 more races left, or 2 more weeks. 4 more races for you, probably. What's the record for winning in the season? Or do you already have it?
Good question.
That is a good question because I don't know. I mean, I know Scott Perlman had 2 sweeps in a row, but I think that was the most he ever had.
Yeah,
And I've had...
I think 10 or so is his record. That
I don't
seem
know.
like.
I'm almost certain 13 is a record.
And where are you at?
I've had 13
You're
wins.
13? Oh, really? I thought it was a little more now.
You have 13. That's all you got is 13? I thought you had
There's
15.
only
Oh, you
16
got
races.
us 13?
13 out of 16.
13 out of 16.
Well, I'm sorry. I said 15. I thought it was 15.
They said you'd be right by the end of the season, right?
We do have 2 more
Saturday.
races, and he's already got them in the bag.
I said Saturday, it'll be all right.
Okay, well, when you read this, it'll be 15. That'll be for Saturday. I ain't going to say nothing else. Well, I'm sorry.
Sure 13 is the record. It's got to be.
Yeah, I want to say a couple years ago, Manny and they were talking that they had won 10 the season before. They wanted to win 10. So I want to say 10 was probably the previous. Because I would say Scott's got a hold of it.
I mean, that wasn't consecutive. I won 10 consecutive.
Yeah. I'm just talking about overall.
All right, we're not going to do the bragging part right now. We're just going to talk about racing.
Let's let
We're just going to talk racing now. I don't want 10 straight. That won't 10 straight. That didn't get. That's cool, though. Now, was it as easy the other night as it looked? I mean, after you got past Perlman?
It's never easy racing Scott because obviously he's been doing it so long and he knows, how to race people without wrecking them, and he doesn't give you a whole lot of room, so to get by him, you just got to move him. And that's what I did.
I'll say it was fun to watch.
It was
I mean,
fun.
it was
Yeah,
probably
it was a good
one of the
race.
most fun races to watch this year, honestly. Nobody likes to see somebody win all the time.
But
So-
I know. Well,
But
at
I
least if
take
you
it.
win all the time, they want to see you race for it instead of just blowing everybody out the water.
Right.
Now, does people, like after race, the fans, do they tell you get tired of seeing you win?
No, I've never
No.
heard anybody say that.
No?
Nobody's throwing beer bottles at you like did Jeff Gordon a few years ago when he was winning all the races.
I remember that.
So I guess that's
was
one way.
Martinsville, I think.
Huh?
People were
It
throwing
was in
stuff.
Martinsville and one time at Talladega.
Yeah,
Talladega, I think, was toilet paper. and
Oh,
stuff,
they were
wasn't it?
throwing everything on the track that
that was
day.
crazy that year.
Yeah.
But so give us a little background on how everything going this season. I mean, who all's helping you and what's going on with you.
Well, this season we've got 4 cars we're working on. My crew chief, Andy, he pulls his hair out every weekend trying to get all 4 of them ready to go. But we got me, and then we got Mark Roberts' son, Cullen Roberts. Mark Roberts actually owns a car I race at Langley in the Pro 6 division. And also we got Angela Marie Steele racing an arena car. And she's also racing a Pro 6 at Langley. And then we got Tommy Jackson Jr., which he was with me last year and the year before that. And then we added the other 2 cars this year. And it's been a headache at times, but it's fun to have more cars out there to watch. That are your own equipment, and
I'll say Cullen's done a good job.
Yeah, I think Cullen's doing good. He just, he's got to calm down a little bit. I mean, he went out there this week with a brand new body and come back with the right front broke and the front end broke. But I mean, it's just body damage. But he's doing a pretty good job.
But the front end was on the car.
Oh yeah, the front end stayed on the car. Unlike this guy over here.
That's half the battle. They still got the front end. I saw him pull your car out after the race and had the hood. Had the front end sticking on top of the car.
Hey, I didn't even know. I was Matt. I was like, I looked down, they were taping my hood, and I looked down and said, damn, I can see the racetrack out the front. I said, is that my front end? They were taking off the racetrack. He's like, yeah, there's nothing in front of your tires. So shit.
Yeah, the modified.
Well, Steffi come across the radio and said, make sure you take that thing down real good because there is nothing left on it, man.
Well, that was, that's par for the course there. Now, tell us about the Pro 6 race the other night at Langley. How did all that go?
It went okay. I mean, I'm not complaining for the first race. We qualified 5th, and we're fighting the handling of the car all day, and we made our way up to 4th in the race, and then the handling just went away and ended up finishing 5th. So, I mean, the car's in one piece. I ain't complaining. We'll go back next race and try to better our spot.
When's the next Pro 6 race?
Not this week, but next weekend, I'm pretty sure.
Because
it turned out to be no conflict between arena racing.
Yeah, but I thought that's the same weekend.
Richmond. I didn't think
they usually don't
run
run that race.
Well, it's Thursday.
The week after.
Week after Richmond.
Richmond, because that's the only weekend that we don't race at Langley.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay.
So, what happened with Maddie Ryan? I saw pictures of her car tore all to pieces. What was?
I mean, I was out there in the car, making laps during practice, and I didn't even see Angela in the middle of the racetrack. I came around the backstretch and around turn 4, and Angela's car was up against the inside wall. Didn't appear to have any damage, but she got hit on the left side, so I couldn't see any of the damage. But Maddie's car was the whole front was just
destroyed.
totally destroyed.
I think it said after hours yesterday morning, I believe.
Yeah, I think they got it up there already. But I mean, I don't know, one of the deals, spotter, miscommunication or what, but I mean, I'm sure they learned from that.
Well, Jody, you were out there at Langley the other night. How was the car counts looking out there this year for the different classes?
They're actually pretty good this year. Very impressed with that. And then, of course, we had the Southern Mods there as well, too. Mm-hmm. So now that was a low car count, But I guess from
really,
I guess from South Boston, a lot of them got broke up too bad, and they didn't make the show this week.
But didn't they have the touring event? Another one of the touring events for the modifieds up at Thompson this weekend too.
I'm not 100% sure.
I think they did. I think they did have another one up there at Thompson this weekend too. So that's
actually, I think this was their last race for 2.5 months.
That's what I talked to Eversole. I think it's Kyle.
I think it is Kyle.
Yeah, I talked to him before the race, and he said they don't race again until like June or something.
Yeah, I was talking to Bert. I got to meet Bert Myers, which my hero on the Madhouse. But yeah, he said they were going to be 2.5 months off because Bowman Gray schedule starts up, and they don't like to interfere with what's going on at Bowman Gray.
I got to get to Bowman Gray one time.
I'd love to go, man.
Yeah, we want to go.
Yeah, that would be an awesome trip.
I'm gonna try to
run up there, man.
But it's like it's a high school football field.
Right, it's like racing on a track.
Yeah, it's flat as all get out, man.
Yeah,
and it's exciting. I miss the Madhouse show, Yeah,
I mean, just the videos they had where they were wrecking each other last year. It was like 3 of those, man.
Yeah.
So how many Pro 6s did they have out there the other day?
I think there was 9 or 10.
Yeah, I want to say it was about 9.
Well, I think it was 10, and then Maddie couldn't start the race, so it ended up being 9. But there was 4 or 5 of them missing.
I was gonna say, I
guess Casey Sipe, who runs arena cars, he had motor problems or something, and they couldn't get the motor done or something like that. And who else is there that
his uncle,
there?
right?
Neil Sipe, I guess, has a car, but he didn't make it out there. I'm not sure how JB Sipe was out there racing, but I don't know how all them Sipes are related. But
it's just a bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, I asked JB, I said, how are you and Neil Sipe related? He's like, I don't know, we're just somehow we're related.
That's hilarious.
So, how do you look in the points? How far ahead are you in the points?
I'm pretty sure I got a 24 or 25 point lead. I actually was deducted 10 points like 3 races ago for some post-race tech motor issues or whatever. They said I had tampered seals on the motor, and I don't know. I mean, it's a whole nother story to get into, but they did what they had to do, and they're trying to.
But the main thing is they didn't find anything.
Right.
But-
There was no
but-
performance enhancing
Advantage.
modifications to the motor.
So if you'd have added that 10 point, that'd be 30. I mean, that seems crazy.
35
Oh, yeah.
lead, yeah.
I don't know if anybody has had that big of a lead.
I don't know.
So you could actually just go out there and play the next 2 weeks if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I mean that's my plan. That was my plan this week. And
But then he wouldn't get to kiss the trophy girl this
if
weekend.
somebody-
Oh yeah, we gotta go. Yeah, we gotta kiss the trophy girl. We've already told her we're gonna win, so we got to do that.
but yeah, I mean I don't know.
How about the last week of the season, that Thursday night? Any paybacks? I mean, I'm not going to ask you to name names, but do you have anything in your mind? You're just,
No, I mean I haven't had
He's
any
been
issues this
pretty
season.
clean
I'm
this
not
year.
going to ask you, Scott.
Oh, then I got
Yeah, there might be some other
honestly,
drivers
this is
that have
probably
issues.
the cleanest season I've ever had. Previous years I'd let my anger and my head get to me and try to retaliate to people. But this year I just try to keep my head calm and focus on the big picture instead of just trying to win every week. And, I mean, being patient has still got me the wins. You
And you can-
capitalize on other people's mistakes and you're just there. You don't really have to work for it. You just let them mess up and you take advantage of it.
Yeah, and you've done a really good job with that. I mean, like I say, it's fun to watch you sort of mature per se, driving wise. Because like I said, sometimes that
A big
anger,
difference since last year.
yeah,
Yeah, big
it does get the best of you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had it happen, and it's easy to do.
Oh yeah.
You get mad.
A lot of money tied up in that car.
It's kind of hard for me to sit here and listen to this. Scott talking about him maturing. And I really don't
Some
go.
people are going down.
I really don't know. I really don't know because I don't go to all the races. But no, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's kind of
Wife
hard.
always said I ain't never act my age.
Well, Scott's had a tough season this year. Had a tough one last year.
Yeah.
Some misfortunes. A lot of misfortunes.
Now, Joe,
If you could get off work, you wouldn't be stuck in the B.
There you go.
You're right.
Yeah.
If we'd have some Saturday races, I would
Right.
be stuck in the B.
and I tell you what, you'll be there early this week, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Be there
It'd be
Yeah,
a
it'd be
Saturday
just me and
race.
JT. It'd be nice. It'd be quiet.
Be there early.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
Now-
you're glad you don't have to deal with the other part of the crew.
So you'll be able
It's been
to.
too bad lately, though.
So you'll be able to do pretty well that night, and
Well, hopefully,
hopefully you
won't
won't have to be the B main, and hopefully you won't have to race another car that's going to show up this weekend. Didn't want to get his car banged up last week, but he,
No, you talking about that Dodson guy?
I ain't calling no names. I wasn't calling names now. But it is kind of funny though to me. I'm just gonna say. But I guess we done kicked him off again.
Yeah, you got word that we made him mad.
Oh,
All right, Joe, you've been around the racing for a few years now.
Right.
Tell us where you got started and how you got to where all these.
Well, I grew up in boat racing in Southern California. My uncle and my dad had a team, and we did that for about 20 years. I moved to Kentucky, and we moved back to take over the farm, and did that for a few years. I hooked up with a guy at Louisville Motor Speedway, and I helped him in his crew. I did that for a couple
Clarify
years.
when you say you hooked up with the guy.
Well, I should say I helped him on his race car.
Okay.
Okay. And, that's a whole different story there. But I helped him out for a couple years, and my job
Couldn't help
moved me
it.
down to Montgomery, Alabama. And the cool thing about my move down to Montgomery, Alabama, is I got to work at Montgomery Speedway and Birmingham Speedway, which back in those days you had Red Farmer as crew chief for Davey Bonnet, and then Clifford Allison was racing down there. So I got to meet those guys and got to help out in the pits down there for a couple years. And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, And in Atlanta, I helped out at Atlanta Motor Speedway for a little bit. The company I work for, sponsored some stuff down at the Speedway. And then 2008, I moved up here to Richmond and got involved with the arena racing about 3 years ago. I started going to the races, and Ricky Dennis would get up and talking to the fans and talk about ways that you can get involved. So 2 years ago, I sent an email in and asked if I can volunteer, and met with Chris Steffi and Tommy Lee, and we talked about what I wanted to do, and they talked about what they needed. And so I showed up for the first race, and of course it's history then. They offered me a job, and I've been doing it for 2 years now. And of course now it's grown to where I'm an official at Langley Speedway now. So that I'm excited about that venture as well too.
Now, did you ever work over Southside?
Oh yes, and I got to forget. I did last year. I got to do Southside Speedway, and a great opportunity for me as well too, which opened the doors for me to get into Langley. The flagman there at Langley is the race director. I'm sorry, the flagman at Southside is the race director for Langley, and so that opened up the door for me to get into Langley this year.
Wow. So you've been around a little bit, know a little bit about this racing game.
Oh yeah, and
So-
love it.
So when you go out to the arena races and you see guys out there, I know you had a run in a couple weeks ago with one guy that didn't want to hear what you had to say. But then you had I didn't call names.
I thought you were talking about me.
No, I wasn't talking about you this time. But then you have a guy like Scott, you know.
I had to hold him off from that little door kicking incident, but he got that little cheap shot in on me. But
Well, you didn't do a very good job
No, I
holding it. Were you supposed to?
well, I wanted you to get that little bit of anger out.
I appreciate it because I felt better until later. My foot started hurting.
I mean, it was really interesting. They had a couple little blow ups up there the other night.
Oh, yeah.
With Perlman got with I don't know who the guy he was. Was it Dylan Levin?
Yeah.
They got into a little.
I'm really surprised that hasn't exploded yet.
Right.
Well, when I saw the guy jump up there and did this to him, I'm thinking, oh, this ain't going to be pretty at
I
all.
will say it's fun watching Dylan because he don't care.
Right.
So it does make it very interesting to watch.
Well, I had to back him off last year on you now.
Oh, I was talking about Dylan, not Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the last race last year. That was pretty interesting from what I hear. I wasn't there, so.
Yeah. I think it's on YouTube or something. Somebody posted it somewhere.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I forget where it was.
Oh, well, I got to find
I'll
it.
have to find out. I
Have to do
haven't
a
seen
search.
it.
I'll look for it and I'll send it to you.
Oh, I bet there was some
God.
noise in the stands. And
The noise in the stands, there was noise, from what I understand, everywhere that night.
it was, yeah. JT came on the radio afterwards. He's like, they're not real happy with you. I'm like, I don't care.
It's arena races.
So Cody, are you looking down the road somewhere to maybe trying to get a late model, getting into the late model series, or what's your?
I don't really have any plans, man. I try to take things day by day, and if the opportunity arises, I'll jump on it. But for now, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and try to be the best at what I'm doing right now. And if I get an opportunity to run a late model, I'm gonna jump right on it and try to do the best I can at it.
The Pro 6 and the late model, there's got to be some similarities there in some ways with being the bodies and everything. Give us some similarities that you see between the late model and your Pro 6.
First off is the adjustability of the car. I mean, the Pro 6 car is essentially a late model. As far as all the adjustability on the front and the rear, other than the chassis, a Pro 6 chassis is a straight rail. The right side frame rail is all the way straight, and it's about 2 feet in from the right side of the body, whereas the late model, it's a conventional style chassis, but it all has the same, A-arm adjustability, coilover, track bar, it's all the same as far as adjusting wise. The biggest difference is just the horsepower. I mean, an average Pro 6 motor will make, anywhere from 150 to 170 horsepower, whereas a late model, you get 370 to 400 horsepower out of them things.
So, who builds the chassis for the Pro 6? I mean, where do you get those, or do you do them yourself?
Well, I mean, a guy named Brett Hamilton was building them, and to my knowledge, he hasn't been building them, lately. Ryan from After Hours Fabrication, he actually built, I think, 2 or 3 cars for this year, and as far as my knowledge is concerned, if you want to go Pro 6 racing, you have to go see Ryan at After Hours Fabrication, because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Brett Hamilton will build you one if you go ask him, hey man, can you build me a Pro 6 car?
Does he still have his shop in Richmond?
I don't
After
know.
Hours?
No, Brett Hamilton. I mean,
I'm not sure. I don't.
I don't know
much
where
about
Brett's
Brett.
at. I know, After Hours is right there in Mechanicsville.
Yeah, I don't know what Brett's doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen or really
Brett
heard much
used
of him
to,
in years.
but Brett used to be right there at the racetrack almost. It was right on top of it somewhere
I don't remember.
at one
Yeah,
time.
right there in that industrial park there.
Yeah, because when he was doing some modifieds and stuff.
I
around
know
he
he's
did a
still
lot of
building
them.
cars because I
Yeah.
see pictures of stuff he's building on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, he was a pretty sharp guy back when he did some modifieds. And
I think he won the first modified championship, the first couple or so there that they run. But actually, Ricky started. I mean, Ricky started that modified division, the traveling
Yeah,
back then.
Big set.
all right, well, talk a little racing from the weekend. Did you watch any of the racing this weekend?
It was a good race. It was fun to watch. I mean, you really didn't know who really was going to win until the end there. And then, McMurray in there kind of shuffled things up. I thought Harvick kind of had the race won. And then what about the Eric Jones, or that won the nationwide race? The nationwide, the Xfinity. That's gonna be hard to keep up with. But Coach Gibbs said that he's ready for Cup. So
And I understand. And I saw this afternoon on Facebook, but I had heard it yesterday that MWR is looking at trying to bring him over to drive their car.
Yeah, I seen that because Gibbs ain't got nowhere to put him. But I'm sure I would figure they'd put him in an 18 car until.
I think
I
that's
thought Eric Jones is going to be driving for Jeff Gordon next year.
no. It's Casey Elliott.
Elliott's going to get that
Chase
right.
Elliott.
Chase Elliott. I'm
Chase
sorry,
Elliott.
Chase Elliott.
Yeah,
What are you
that's a
chasing
done
from?
deal.
Yeah, that's been a done deal for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
People
people who
they're going to retire the 24.
no.
No, he's going to continue with 24.
Jeff don't want it retired.
Yeah.
He said
So
he
what
wants
is Jeff going to do when he wants to run a few races?
find him a car somewhere because he can't drive for Hendrick. But
I'm sure he'll find a ride.
I'm sure of that, and
Get
I'm
a lot
sure.
of people to offer him a ride.
I mean, I think he said something about he if he did, he'd like to come back and run Martinsville because he liked Martinsville. But he won't going to do any super speedway racing. He didn't want to do that no more. But that's been a done deal for quite a while, and quite a few people told me I didn't know what I was talking about.
Well, that's usually usual.
But I told them that a long time ago.
Yeah, we did say he was crazy.
And one Hall of Fame man who is a Hall of Fame writer that has a press box named for him over at Langley Speedway. I ain't calling no names out here, but I knew what I was talking about. You just didn't know I knew what I was talking about. But anyway, that's cool. But that was a good race. I enjoyed the race.
I didn't even watch it.
No. I watched most of
I can't watch NASCAR unless it's Martinsville or Richmond.
Okay.
Or Phoenix. I like Phoenix.
flat track.
So are you helping anybody with the late models? I mean, I saw you at Southern National one time, and you was helping somebody down there. Are you helping anybody?
No, I was at Southern National racing the Pro 6. They invited us down there.
Well, you must have. That wasn't the same day that I was there, though.
No, you're talking about before.
That was the Denny Hamlin race, I think.
Was it, or the classic? No, it was.
It was a classic race at the end of the year.
I was down there with Dean Shiflett,
Oh, okay.
helping him out. And I mean, I helped Butterbean letter his cars with Jordan, and I mean that's pretty much it.
Cody don't do nothing but work on race cars.
That's all I do.
Him and Mark about to kill themselves. Mark looked like he was dead.
Yeah, we don't get much sleep. That's for sure.
No.
Team no sleep.
Yeah. Say I don't miss it.
So
I'm like, man.
what kind of job do you have? Are you working at a race shop or?
I work right down the road here for a place called Rameyville. We do a lot of tuning and fabrication, and I'm the fabricator over there, so I do all the fabricating and welding. We do mostly everything's TIG welded, and he builds Honda race cars, believe it or not. Honda's making 1,400 horsepower, running 8 seconds in a quarter mile.
Oh, so he's the drag racing.
Yeah, he's got the second fastest sport front wheel drive car in the world.
Who's got the front?
A guy out in Washington. It's a company called Speed Factory.
Wow.
How far off is he?
He's about a half a tenth.
So you spend all day working on race cars. Go home at night, work on race cars,
Yeah, I've pulled some all-nighters. I don't know how I don't know how they do it.
and then come over here and have to weld on a race car over here.
Having something over here.
Well, winning 13 races, he hasn't had to work on his
Well,
car
that's
too
true.
much this
Right.
year.
He just rolls it in the trailer and just looks at it.
I've been down here.
Down a little bit.
Boy, I'm
Have
gonna
you
tell
changed much stuff on your car?
I have not changed one thing.
See, that's surprised because he's always wanting to change something.
Well, I mean, sometimes I'll add a spring rubber here, take one out there, or, just do something to try to see if it'll do anything to the car, but it always just goes back to what it's been for the past 2 years. I mean, I don't know if everybody else is falling off or, I hit the wall pretty hard the first race. I mean, who knows? Maybe the chassis is bent over a little bit and it's helping me. I don't know.
I've had late model guys do it and they wreck it and they're like, it drives better. And they're like, mark everything where it's at.
Yeah.
Just leave it where
One
it's
thing
at.
with the arena cars that I've been surprised about this year is nobody's been buying a lot of tires this year.
Well, that's another thing. And
Wow.
we were going to buy tires this week, but,
When you got a
Andy,
big
my
points
crew
lead,
chief.
you kind of want to keep the pace up. Huh?
Well, I mean, Andy's the smartest guy out there as far as I'm concerned. And when it comes to making the car fast and knowing what the car needs to win the race, and he said we needed 2 tires, so I bought 2 tires, and I think we run a 776 in the top dog on like lap 40.
Damn.
Where that's the biggest thing with my cars. It doesn't fall off like all these other guys. They'll start out like Dylan Loving. He busted off a 782 or something like that in qualifying, and then when the race comes, he's running 8.0s and 8.1s and stuff by lap 15 and lap 20.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that.
And how many other guys in the arena racing, excluding this one, get you to come work on their cars and stuff?
How many do I work on?
No, how many ask you to say, look, what are you doing? Come over here and take a look at my stuff and see what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, I don't really get too many people that ask me that. I'm sure Andy, my crew chief, gets that all the time, but we try to limit ourselves on who we help, because you tell one person one thing, and then sooner or later the whole pits will know what you're doing. So you got to be careful with who you tell and what you tell them.
Well, you really need to go, when you do that, you need to tell somebody who you know ain't going to win, like Scott. And
Scott Perlman?
It's every week.
so I can understand you wanting to help him.
I've been helping Scott since I've been as long as I can remember. It's been 3 or 4 years now.
You got to understand, he used to start and park damn mini stocks.
Oh my Jesus.
So
No.
you can't.
No. See,
you
you
didn't
done.
get through the window?
No. No. This was a long time ago.
He was thinner then.
And I'm going to, I was a whole lot thinner then, but wait a minute. Let's go back to this start and park thing. There was no starting and parking.
Okay, you pulled in early.
I did pull in one time early so I could be the first car out for kids' night.
Where were you racing at?
Southampton.
Okay. That's one place I want to go race at. I wish somebody would buy that racetrack.
That was an unbelievable racetrack for a local track. I mean, but it's just, it's gone now. I mean, it's.
Yeah, No, just overgrown.
It's the back wall is leaning in. It's I've been up there a couple times and walked around the track and looked at it. You got.
This is where I used to park at over here. we had Joe Nemechek on the show one time. He's like, Joe, we both started in mini stocks. I said, I don't think Joe's starting park no mini stock. Joe got offended. He was like, we only started parking that cup car because we own this sponsors. He's talking about me.
Scott was talking about him. Now Cody. I'm gonna give you the lowdown on this now. Kids' night was a big night at Southampton. Okay, I was running like 6, 7 somewhere in there in the race.
He's in the back. There was only 5 cars. He was 6.
You know what?
Let him finish the story.
Anyway, I knew I wasn't going to have a shot to win the race. I wasn't in it for points. I wasn't in it for any of that stuff. So we got to within 2 laps of the end of the race. I shot off the track. And of course, everybody wanted to know, what in the world is he doing? So I come off the track, circle down through the garage, the pit area, come back up the other side, and I sat there. And when the race was over with, they said, all right, everybody going out for kids' night and go ahead and go. So I was the first one to come back out on the track for kids' night. My kids wanted to ride my car. Wasn't a start and park.
Well, you can call it what you want.
Well, I did it for the fun. I wasn't winning wasn't my thought that night. Or many other nights, too.
Me and you couldn't get along, man. That's all
No, I wanted to win, but there was nights I just knew that wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to be. And the sad part, no, I better not even go that story. I might offend somebody else. But anyway.
So in the Pro 6, I'll agree. I think the Pro 6 is a great stepping stone to go forward because, like you said, it has all the adjustability. It drives pretty close to a late model. It's not like years ago the mini stocks, you had front-wheel drive cars that were essentially useless to move forward in a so-called career. Just the horsepower difference. So I think it's just a great division. And I don't think it's very expensive compared to going to a late model or some of those other, we used to call them crash up classes.
No, I mean, Pro 6 is pretty affordable. Unless, of course, you're tearing your car up. But everybody tries to stay on the gentleman's agreement. None of us really have, sponsors like late models and stuff like that. So they no sense in going out there and tearing each other's stuff up.
Yeah. Now, how much has Greer helped this year? I know he started helping last year. And Greer eats and breathes. He's bad as you and Mark. He eats, breathes racing. I mean, there's nothing else. That's the first thing on the list is racing.
And that's always on his mind, that's for sure. He's helped us out a lot. I mean, he's always there trying to keep the team straight. We get all angry and upset, and he's just calming us down. And he takes the trailer to the racetrack and stuff, tows it with his truck.
Yeah, you got him hooked on arena racing.
Oh yeah, he said, "Oh, I ain't going to arena racing. I'll never go to that." We took him to one race. And I think
he's been every race.
Top dog, and he's been there ever since.
Yeah. No, I like Greer. He's funny, but he takes racing serious. I remember we were at Southern National. It wasn't Southern National. Yeah, it was. Kenley, yeah. And everybody, there was too many people there working on the car, honestly. Yeah. And I forget, he come over there and was hollering at everybody, and I just left. I was like, y'all got too many damn people over here. He come over, he's like, man, I'm sorry, I get upset when we
get worked up, that's for sure.
Well, you ain't bother me because I ain't touched nothing.
I ain't done the first one though to calm everybody down and straighten the situation out. So
you can't be driving like that.
Don't be acting like that. People are watching you.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job of all that stuff, and then even the representing sponsors and sports and stuff like that.
He's had a lot of experience. He's been racing for a long time.
Now he posted a video the other night when y'all were pulling
Dean Shiflett's late model. We had it on the dyno over there at my shop.
Did you see if the belts fit you and the pedals were close enough?
Nah, well, I mean, Dean told me I could make a few laps in it, but I'm going to have to take a pad with me so I can put it in the seat. He's a little bigger and taller than I am.
Yeah, he's probably a little taller.
But I think it's something serious on the diamond.
Please answer or ignore.
Ready? Yeah. And joining us now is Mr. Ricky Dennis. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing just fine. How you guys doing out there?
We're doing good. We're about to float away with all the rain down here. How's it up your way?
Same. If you're a toad, it'd be pretty good. It's pretty amazing the rain we're getting up here.
Well, Ricky, give us a little lowdown on how things are going with the Arena Series this year, and what kind of things you're looking to do in the future.
Well, that's a pretty wide question, but I tell you, the way things turned out, I've been very happy with the season the way it turned out. We had a big, strong office full of people last year, and backed up to the way it used to be, me having to touch everything again, which has actually been a blessing and been a big help. And I tell you, the racers and the officials have done a great job handling that side of the sport, so I can focus on the grandstand as far as best I can and learn a lot. I grew up in the pit like most all of us did, and been learning what it takes to put people in the seats, the part of the sport that I never cared about, because I was just like Cody when I got to the racetrack. All I was there for was a trophy. But we had to learn how to do that and learned a lot. And I'm very excited about what we're going to do in the off season, what I call the proactive season that comes up starting in May, to really build for next year. I'm very excited about that.
Now, this year you started the season a little later than you normally do. Is that the plan for the future, to keep it the same way, or what?
No, I can't really say that. We started a little bit later because of the curveball I had thrown at last summer on the investor side of the world, but I needed some more time to really get my arms around some things, and so we shortened up the season a little bit, but I definitely want to get back, eventually to the 15-event season, because that's, in my mind, it's always been a good season. I'd like to get a few races in before Christmas like we always did, and, with the way arena racing works compared to other sports, we can move our dates around because we don't have to match up with other cities, even as this thing starts expanding. So, but we'll do what's right for the whole sport, and best we can. I'm a Saturday night kind of guy on the race, and Friday night's a tough deal for racers, but we have a lot of sponsors that don't want to bring employees out unless they can stay downtown from work and come over to the race too. And on top of that, we have to take what we can get with the building too. So it's a tough thing to have to work around the circus and the monster truck and other events they have sometimes. But we'll just continue to do the best we can and try to continue to put on a good show like these racers are doing these days.
Now, the arena racing when it started, the Norfolk, the Hampton, the things down there, you went away from that to get it back towards Richmond. Why did it not work out there and in Charlotte also? I was down there for the first race in Charlotte when they did the arena racing down there for the first time. Why didn't that work out better down there, do you think? I mean, what is your personal feeling on it?
There's only one reason, because none of us knew how to put people in the seat. It's not an advertise it and they will come.
Yeah.
And what happened was in Norfolk, I thought to start something because I couldn't get in Richmond because of a non-compete. Hampton had the same non-compete, the monster truck boat. So then we split the season with Hampton and Norfolk because it was so hard to work around hockey in Norfolk. So I love the guys down there at Norfolk and in Hampton. But we split the season up, and then going back and forth with that track started tearing that up too. And then even opened up Charlotte when Joe Gibbs and those guys all invested in this thing behind me, thinking that we need to be in Charlotte because it's where a lot of racing is, but it's saturated. But the bottom line was we didn't have to put people in the seats. We started advertising the thing like a monster truck event, and we're not a monster truck event. We're a minor league sports model, which is about sponsors, group sales, season tickets, and fundraisers and all the other things, the pockets that put people in the seat. And then whoever walks up at the box office is a bonus because you just never know whether or what's going to happen to keep that from happening. So, when we were in Charlotte and down there in Hampton Roads too, we didn't know what to do, honestly. And honestly, probably the biggest thing that changed that I learned I didn't have before I came back to Richmond was a good old boy network. And I didn't have one down there. It's not where I'm from, and I lived here all my life, and all of a sudden, these business owners that I didn't realize I knew or went to school with or knew me or knew my dad from racing and stuff were taking my calls and referring me to other people and teaching me how tickets to a race could help their business. And That's when BB&T brings 1,000 people and Capital One brings 1,700 people, and a lot of other businesses bring it 20 or 50 at a time. Those are the things that we needed to put people in the seats, and had no idea how to do that until just a couple years ago. I'm embarrassing a little bit, but nobody ever stopped and told me.
So how much do you look at the fact that the season, the way it is, and how everything's going? Do you look at the people that you have in the seats as being the modifier on how good the season's going for you, or do you just look at the overall picture at the end of the year?
Well, that is the overall picture, I guess. It is all about the people, and it all works out. We're a business. It's got to be run. It's got to hold its own and pay its own bills and stuff. And fortunately, over the past, I've had investors that came in that wanted me to spend money a certain way, and we did a lot of things. And we had more people in the seats at times, but we lost a lot more money. So on paper, we didn't look really good. Now it's about getting people into the races and getting them to want to come back.
Right.
And learning this social media world, has been crazy, but that's a big key. I mean, we could go out and we would spend a lot of money on radio and TV, and I walk through the stands like I always do, and almost nobody would ever tell me they heard a radio or TV commercial. I guess with DVRs or whatever and all that kind of stuff. And if you listen to satellite radio, you never would hear one of the radio commercials, stuff like that. But the social media stuff is going on around us with the tweets, which I'm going to learn a little bit more about that, and Facebook and stuff. I mean, we're getting in front of a couple 100,000 people per race that way now.
Yeah, you really are, but you have a good sport, a good foundation there with what you got going on. Maybe a few more cars would be good. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you look at that, but
yeah, absolutely. I always want more cars and bring new people into the sport. That's what it was created for. I'd love to have maybe 4 more, 5 more kids cars, and about 7 or 8 more adult cars that we have. I'd love to have 3 mains with 10 cars in each one, and then have the 2 youth mains. Because splitting that up has really been good because of the we like one of the dads told me, we took a 6th place kid and gave him a chance to win a race by splitting the youth mains up, and because there was a big difference in the ability in those kids this year. If we can do that and just keep the show still at 2.5 hours or less, we're going to have something. And that's the whole thing, is trying to push it through to get it done, because the people need to go home without a bunch of sleeping babies on their shoulders.
yeah, you got that right. And I tell you, I enjoyed it the other night. It was a lot of fun. I go there. I mean, I don't go on a regular basis, but it was a really good show. Even though Cody Carlton kind of stinks it up every time when you go out there and he wins all the time. He said here.
It's strange, because some people do say that stinks it up, but when you got a guy like Cody and Scott to go out there and they run that tight of a show and run that side by side, I mean, he raced for it. I mean, stinking it up would be, when he draws the pole and he halfway laps the field. Yeah, you could call it that, but there's still a lot of good racing going on there, and he deserves it.
Oh, I agree.
You get them 2 guys side by side, man, you don't get much better than that.
Yeah, that was some good racing the other night. He's sitting right here. That's the reason why I was saying that. And I just, I want to put a dig. And I knew you were talking Scott Perlman and not Scott Allen, so I'm.
I thought he was talking about me.
No, Scott Allen, he can do good, but sometimes he forgets where the brake pedal is, and somebody's over there kind of pinned up against the wall.
Well, the bad part about it is, I even heard that last year he forgot what direction the track was.
Oh, no, he knew which direction he was going. I think Ray Charles could see what he was doing that night.
Your turn.
So, Ricky, how's the fan count going so far as the season going?
Well, it does good. I mean, it really is going good. I mean, when a lot of people see the attendance starts to go up a little bit, down a little bit, some nights, some sponsors have more tickets than other nights, and some nights when I have opening ceremonies, right, with, and there's a group in there singing the national anthem or another group doing the Pledge of Allegiance, those little things make a big difference. And, I really didn't get started on the last season proper until September, just the way things happened. But that's what I'm excited about, really getting started in May and knowing what Ricky Dennis has to do this year to make next year really, really good. I mean, I was excited as I've ever been with arena racing right now, to be honest with you. And it's nice, just in a lot of ways. I don't want to say I'm a one-man band. I'm the only full-time member of arena racing. But there's an awful lot of people out there, all the officials, all the teams, team owners, and even an awful lot of fans that are really jumping in here trying to help and spread the word. So, there's a lot of people that want to see this thing go and succeed, not just me. And that's what's exciting. We've got a neat little family in there. It's an awful lot of fun. I look forward to getting to the racetrack when we have race days. A lot of times people don't see me floating around there too much, but I'm there. And I just have fun, man. It's like my family when I get down there.
Yeah. Now, how the Friday races? I know we all complain about them so far as the racing side of it. How has it turned out fan wise for Fridays? Has it been better than you thought, or about what you think it was going to be?
Yeah, the problem I struggle with on Fridays, especially when these people like I guess the last one, the Miniland, was a Friday, and they had, I don't know, not 1,000 tickets. But it says on the ticket 7:30, and the people don't know to get there at 6:30 because the way they're handing out tickets to employees and staff and families and even customers, some of the people that are distributing their tickets have never been to a race before. So it's just like the past for a couple Friday nights, it scared the heck out of me until the green flag dropped, and I looked up and said, "Wow, where did these people come from?" So it's actually been a little better than I thought, but I was still a Saturday night kind of guy. I really like that a lot. And, part of me really wants to try 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday race at some point, because I went followed the circus a little bit this year at the Coliseum, and their biggest attended event was a Saturday afternoon event. So I don't know what that would be like, but it might be something we might want to try.
That would be different for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it brings more kids, that's still the most important part. One of them, is getting these kids and families in there and building our sport from the grassroots up. And when these kids come, and this Friday night's race, Saturday, Sunday was the first time that I looked at the selfies that these people are posting to our page. For some reason, my phone updated, and all of a sudden it was something different on my phone. And I've never seen before. I could scroll across and look at them. And it was unbelievable how many people posted first time ever at a race, having a great time, loving the time with my family, first time ever at a race. I mean, these kids, they're bringing her 3 years old to 15 years old or whatever, but first time ever at a race. And, if we can do that, we'll build this sport and start filling these seats up all the way to the cup level down the road. So, we've all got to do this together.
Ricky, how's it looking for that Thursday race as far as you were talking about having some special guests and all that?
Well, that's the part I got to get back on the phone here right now. Just calling a lot of my friends, crew chiefs and drivers and stuff like that, to get them here. And the problem I'm having is I'm still touching so darn many things, getting the focus on that day. But, to have people like Jack Ingram come up, he's a Hall of Famer, and a lot of people don't know who he is, but he's one of the guys I grew up watching my dad race with and running up and down the East Coast with. And he was a tough guy to went to beat. And, some of these different crew chiefs that I've known for a long time that were, Earnhardt and Bill Marlins and Bill Elliott's crew chiefs and things like that. A lot of people will recognize the names, and the next couple of days will tell a lot of tales of who I can say is coming and who I can't. But, it's hard to say who's going to show up. I think there's going to be a lot of people show up that didn't tell me, just because they don't feel like they're being obligated to do something.
Right.
But I think it's going to turn out really cool once we get a lot of exposure. Dennis Nickmeyer and Clay Campbell are both going to be there, and they're looking to bring some NASCAR and IST folks there because they understand the importance of what we're doing for their tracks down the road. So.
Now, what's the prediction on Dennis keeping it on all fours, the president from Richmond International Racing? Is he going to come practice some first?
Well, he told me yesterday that Clay Campbell backed out, and he thinks he's going to as well. But so it doesn't appear that he's going to race with everybody else. But it kind of hit me today that I might have to go over and get a couple of those go-karts back in there and set up a road course with the infield barriers for intermission and let those two race each other, just because I think they still like to challenge each other to something. But Dennis said he definitely wants to do it, but he's so worried because he was worried about not getting practice, and he wants to practice and do it for real. So he'll absolutely, if something doesn't change for next Thursday, he'll absolutely come in and race with us next year at some point. I think he'll do well.
Yeah. Now, what about, I know the little road course used to run at downtown Norfolk. Everybody used to love that. Have you thought about bringing that back and doing that from time to time?
Well, no, the reason we didn't do it anymore down there is when we built that cruise ship terminal, it took away our pit area. They weren't happy. The people that invested us down there were sad, when we couldn't come back anymore. It's not that we didn't want to. We'd still do it. But actually, Henrico County up here in Richmond wants us to race in two of their parks. Want me to go look at them pretty soon. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I have no idea. Been talking to the folks doing the bike race that's coming to Richmond in September. It's going to have millions and millions of eyeballs on that. There's 7 days worth of bike racing, and there's no way they can have cameras on bike racing that much. What could we possibly do to help divert that? But it may be an opportunity for us to get on a global stage, and I don't even know what that looks like yet. I mean, this was city officials that are talking to me, mentioned to me about how do we potentially help them fill some TV time. And I mean, that's pretty damn cool.
Well, it sounds like that would be an interesting thing. And as far as your thing on Thursday, I'm gonna try to get some people to come out there on Thursday night too. I know some guys that would probably be interested in trying to come out there on Thursday that are going to be in town for the races. I've got some connections in the Xfinity garage and in the Cup garage, so maybe I can get some of them to come out there too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do. Any of the teams, because they really threw us a curve. So when we went to the Thursday night deal, the Nationwide, or the Xfinity, excuse me, and the K&Ns were racing on Thursday. And we have a big STEM education day over there on Thursday at lunchtime too. But it was going to be a deal where those guys, more of them were going to be in town, and a whole lot of them. I mean, I had some serious opportunities with several of the key Xfinity drivers that may or may not still come to play, but now that they're looking at just flying in on Friday morning instead of Thursday, that really threw a kink in the plans on for Thursday night. But there's still a lot of people that are coming. But what I'll say is, any of the guys in the Cup and the Xfinity garage that are up there setting up pits to the drivers, I'll hook them up with tickets. They want to come over and see it. They need to come on over and see, because a lot of them came to saw it when we were in Charlotte, and a lot of them that didn't have heard about it want to come. So we'll do whatever we got to do to get those guys over there. The racetrack is going to do. They're going to be putting stuff in all the motorhomes packages when they pull in next week. And it's going to be a shuttle service that we're putting together for the people in the motorhomes to go back and forth from hour to hour, because like Dennis said, they're not going to drive because they're at the buses all day drinking. So
yeah,
they want to come over to the racetrack and see what we're doing and need a ride back and forth.
Well,
There's a lot of little pieces like that coming together.
Well, I'll put the word out too to some of the guys that I know are coming in on Thursday night, and see what I can work out. Maybe I can get some of them to come out there and at least hang around out there and see what's going on.
No, that'd be good. I mean, I talked to Larry Mack last week, and he's coming up Friday. And a lot of guys also, they changed their plans, and they were coming on Thursday, and now they're coming on Friday. So something changes. I think a lot of them will show up. But like I say, I still have a lot of other guys. Handful of them are over in the truck series now that they're off and not racing, so they're coming up. And I keep saying Jack Ingram, he's driving up just to come to our show, and he's turning back around and going home. He wasn't even coming all hour anyway. But, there's a lot of guys from back in the 70s and 80s that we used to run up down the East Coast with. And I'm just trying to have a little reunion with my old buddies, to tell you the truth. And I think there's a lot of people who would like to chat with them if I can get them here.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can work out and help you out with that. Maybe I can coerce some of them in. I know my son and his team. He's on Jeff Gordon's pit crew, and I know they're coming in on Thursday night. So
right.
I'm gonna be picking him up. I'm gonna be picking him up at the airport Thursday night. So I know they'll be in.
Well, any of them that want to come, man, just the more the merrier. We're definitely trying to get the word out. people like Dennis Bickmeyer, they're going to be tweeting out to their friends. I started to learn how that stuff worked. Kind of crazy. When he was in the stands a couple of weeks ago, and he tweeted out, and Michael Walter retweeted whatever that he tweeted out. He went to 354,000 people. And Dale Jr.'s manager, he chimes in, going back and forth about Junior coming up, and TJ Majors racing with us in Norfolk, and that was hitting 10s or 20 or 100,000 or whatever. I mean, the numbers got crazy so fast. I had never seen anything like that. But there'll be, I know Dennis and Clay are both going to be there, and like they bring in some NASCAR and ISC folks to come see what we're doing. So, I'm looking forward to that, and I don't know what that could turn into, if anything, but they're going to come see a heck of a show, I'll tell you that.
All right, well, we appreciate your time tonight, Ricky. We're going to let you get back to whatever you were doing and trying to work on that show for Thursday night, and hopefully everything will go good this weekend. Hopefully Cody, he's already told me he's already got 15 wins, and so.
Yeah, I was wondering who the trophy girl was going to be this week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Sorry, yeah, and I'm sure my daughter will be back this week. And I'm tired of taking pictures of that Cody guy.
She's out there.
No, she'll be back.
Well,
All right.
Okay, well, Cody's he's already saying he's going to get his picture made anyway. So,
I would never bet against him. I can tell you that. No way.
All right, Ricky, we appreciate your time. I appreciate you having me out last week too, and that was really good. And we'll talk to you again.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for what you guys do for the racing world, man. Let's keep building.
All right, man. Thank you. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Yeah, it'd be interesting how Thursday night's going to work. How many people's going to show up?
It's going to,
Cody will be there.
Well, Cody's
got 5 G's on the line. He's going to be there.
I'd have to be there after next week.
Well, that may be. Now, is your dad going to give you any of that money?
Oh, yeah.
All of it? Half of it?
I mean, we got a pretty decent amount of sponsorship this year, so whatever has been spent after the sponsorship, he'll take that out and then give me the rest.
I was just wondering. It depends on if you make you mad or not.
How does that work for you, Joe, on a Thursday night? That's going to be tough for you to have to work and be there. Or
well, I've actually had to schedule the day off. So the cool thing about it is where I work at, he's a big NASCAR fan. He's raced. And, in fact, we're involved with the Richard Petty driving experience. And so he supports, my extra activities, I guess you would say.
That's pretty good.
That's great.
So, yeah, it's wonderful, It's working out pretty good.
So what are you going to do on Thursday?
Thursday?
Yeah, that Thursday night. What are you going to do?
Well, hopefully I don't tear anything up. Or tear anything of mine up, I should say. Let me just
We're
clarify that.
We're not going to go there, but we'll let it go at that. But anyway.
I'll probably show up late and start in the back again.
That would be made.
Which funny though, most of the time last year when I did that, I ran well.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to fucking.
When you showed up late, you ran well?
Yeah.
We sure didn't see that this week.
No, the last 2 weeks. Or I should say last 2 races.
Yeah. But it's racing. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago, Elton Sawyer was driving for Junior Johnson for that last year he had the Cup team. Junior Johnson told him that to win a race or in NASCAR, the 90% of it was car and 10% of it was luck. But if you didn't have the 10% luck, that 90% car didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
And there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, if you don't have any luck, I don't care how fast your car is, it ain't gonna matter.
Well, that's true. Well, what else we going to talk about tonight? We done got the champ over here.
You could probably pretty much engrave the trophy.
Yes.
Well, I just,
Now, is this going to be your first championship?
First championship in any racing.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal, I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
arena racing's not an easy thing. Hell, just to survive sometimes is a hell of a feat itself. I know.
I know you know.
I've never heard anybody come drive arena cars that said it was easy.
No, I mean, it's probably, I know to me, and I can't speak for you, but it's probably the most difficult, probably not that difficult for you now, but you've done it long enough. It's hard, it's completely different than anything else. And you got to figure. I mean, we're making a lap in 8 seconds, under 8 seconds.
No time
Things
to
happen.
think about what
No, I mean things happen so quick. You don't have time to
I
think.
was thinking about it the other day, and I was kind of comparing it to like the arena football. You know how exciting that is because it's
So
such
short,
that short,
yeah.
small field, and we're racing in that small field. I mean that is just so exciting.
Yeah, and there's no out of bounds.
Yeah, no out of bounds. There's no room to pass, and you got to force your way around the track, man.
Yeah,
it's the only way
that's a
you're
good
going to do it.
comparison,
Yeah, and in 8 seconds, less than 8 seconds, exciting racing, very exciting.
Well,
It's on to Bristol this week. Kind of what me and Cody's on every week. Pretty much.
there'll be some good racing at Bristol
I just
this
hope they
week.
can get. Are they running on the bottom at Bristol again? I hate when they run up against the wall. It sucks.
Well, you know, you
Ever
know,
since they levitated or whatever they called it.
well, you know, they've added more softer barriers around Bristol.
They did already.
Yeah, that's going to be there for this race. And I was listening to Chase Elliott as I was coming down the road today, and they were talking about how much is that going to affect the racing because you're coming off the wall a little more where a lot of guys were right there on the wall.
Right.
Yeah, because the safer barrier is probably what 2.5 foot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
at
a lot.
least. Yeah, it's quite a bit.
And he said it's going to affect it. It's going to affect it a lot because it's going to change the lines that some guys are going to have to run.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works out this weekend. They're going to have the K&N cars there. You're going to have the Xfinity cars and the Cup cars there. So it'll be interesting to see. I've talked to a couple people trying to get them to come on the show later on that's going to be out there this weekend in the K&N cars. And they say it's going to be different for them.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for it. I know where I'm going to be watching.
Where are you gonna be?
I'm going to be busy Saturday night, but I'm going to be watching the race somewhere.
I'll
TV's
be
like
watching my own race.
Yeah, well, I started to say I might try to get.
he ain't looking forward to that trophy girl now.
Yeah. Well, he's got to get his 14th win, and then of course Thursday he's got to get his
I like
15th.
messing
So
with her. She's always she's like, you're back again.
I think she said that like the second race. I'm tired of taking pictures of Cody
I
Carlson.
said, I'm not even coming back.
You did run off for a week or two, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know. She wasn't there.
Last couple of
It's
weeks,
been like 3 races now, I think.
yeah,
it may be.
Well,
Probably got school.
don't take no offense to it, Cody. If the woman don't want to be around you.
Most of them can't handle my schedule anyways.
Well, see, you're going to eventually. How old are you?
24.
You might have a couple more years. Eventually, that's going to change.
I don't know. He might be one of them hardcores like Greer.
Oh, I'll never let a girl take me away from racing. I can tell you that right now. She's either going to have to put up with it or she's
out.
I've heard that talk for a lot.
I have too. I've been fortunate. My wife has pretty much accepted what I do, but I pretty much don't do it the way they do it. I don't do it every weekend, every day.
I was thinking there when Ricky was talking about 2:30. I'm like, damn, Cody, we could do 2 races in one night. We could come back and go to Langley and run.
I don't think that'll ever work.
I don't know, it'd be kind of weird in the middle of the day. I don't.
Yeah. Of course, like you said, the circus, that is their busiest time that they attract the kids and stuff, man. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. It might surprise all of us,
Could. It's possible. It's certainly possible.
I mean, you'll never know until they do it,
Right.
To see exactly what's going to take place.
Right.
But you got to take that chance. I mean, see what's
going to happen.
see what's going to happen with it. You never can tell. But anyway, all right. Enjoyed the night of arena racing with the champion Cody Carlson.
I got to give a shout out to Madero's Motorsports. Just wanted to say that.
What, did y'all have a bet or something?
No, I mean, he just let Jackson run his car last week, and it's,
No, they're good
He didn't
people
have
over
to do
there. Yeah. No, they're good people. I like those guys
Yeah.
over there.
And
That's
plus
what
I
the
got to
boy-
borrow his caution light every week because mine's always dead.
I know, and, I hate that damn caution light because I don't know. it comes on late, and then
That's
sometimes
because
it
he
comes.
sees it all the time. That's because he sees it all the time.
And then I think a few times last year it came on and there wasn't even caution.
That's right. I don't ever.
I mean, if you got a spotter, you really don't need that caution light.
Nah.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a waste myself, but
If that light comes on and I haven't heard nothing from my spotter, I'm not slowing down yet.
so I'm gonna start listening to what Cody does.
What they do? I mean,
Well, you
they've
got to
done that
stay
before.
going straight in order to be able to do that.
The man
Okay.
will push the button and the car's light. Then he'll push the button again and then take the yellow
Turn it
flag
off,
back
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, good luck to you this weekend
Thank you.
for 14 and 15, since I already gave you the 15.
yeah.
And,
I hope he ain't jinxed you.
Joe, good to have you. We'll hope you come back again every
Yes.
week if you want to, but
Okay.
we would be more than glad to have you. Eventually, we're going to have somebody on here that we can, besides Scott. But
Somebody else to pick on?
Well, that won't happen. He can't work the computer.
well, that's true. I haven't been informed on exactly how to work everything yet.
Where the on buttons at?
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm safe for a while.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
I
And
enjoyed it.
the legend,
Yeah.
the legend Scott Allen. Got a lot of compliments on that picture I did this week.
That's all thanks to Joe.
How many years ago was that? That was probably in Norfolk.
What?
That picture.
I never raced in Norfolk.
That was a long time
That
ago.
was my first season.
Yeah, because he
Y'all
had
laughed because I went and bought that UPS suit and I
Right.
ran that other suit.
Yep.
And they're like, "What'd you get that?" And I said, "Because y'all were telling me I looked like who was the young kid that come up and started racing with us? They had the dancing grandfather.
Oh my
This country.
goodness.
What the hell was his name? He drove the 4-car last year once or twice.
Buzz Moore.
No. The young kid. They run in the kid series and then he come up and started racing with us last year or the year before last.
Minnie.
Trip Thurston.
Thurston.
That's
Oh,
like, y'all
yeah,
said I look like
Trip
Trip. An older Trip because Trip
Oh,
was literally,
no.
he had the same suit on. Everybody started laughing.
I went through his pictures to find that one particular
Did
picture.
you?
Yeah, I didn't want anything that had anything to do with that the UPS or
I told
Kevin
him if I
Harder.
couldn't drive good, at least I had to look good.
No comment.
Go ahead, Cody. We'll let you talk. But anyway, it's good. It's good. It's good to talk arena racing tonight. Next week, I don't know if you know Cliff Champion.
No.
You know Cliff? Cliff Champion. He's going to be with us next week. He may even come out here.
Oh, really?
So, don't know yet, but I'll find out. And Chase Elliott Spotter is going to be with us next week.
Cool.
So we're gonna have, and I don't know who or what else we may have. We may have a surprise or two.
Yeah, we may start our Langley.
Well, I'm waiting on. I sent Bill a message on that too. So technically, we had Cody here tonight to be the part of the Langley. So
Yeah, we could use that.
anyway, all right.
Yep.
Good night. We'll see you next week.
Good night.